Hey, this is Cisco. Hope you're having a good day. Hope everything's going well. Wanted to make a video about, I'm seeing some on YouTube, some videos about, some people are giving up on life, for whatever reason. It could be loss of a job, the economy's gotten bad, inflation, it could be anything. You don't have to be related to those things, but it could be anything. My opinion is, I saw and I've known this for a while now, some people have given up working and, all that stuff for whatever reason. But I'm one of those guys, who believes in, working. I do believe that hard work does pay off. The thing is, though, you got to have a plan behind all that hard work. Some people, a lot of people out there, I see some videos, they say, well, hard work doesn't matter. Hard work doesn't pay off. I'm here to tell you that although I'm still striving, I am not successful in a monetary point of view, or from a monetary point of view. But my thing is, I've always been a big believer in giving effort, trying, working hard. There's a goal that I have that I've been working on the past 4 or 5 years that I actually have met my goal. I'm just trying to add to it. But I could definitely say if it wasn't for hard work, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today. So I'm here to tell you, I'm like, hard work does pay off. Okay. But remember, you have to have a plan behind the hard work. You just can't work hard and have nothing behind it. In that way, if you do that, if you just solely work hard, then yeah, you would get tired. You might have some monetary possessions to show for it, but the most critical thing is having a plan. I call it having a goal. I believe a lot of people out there should have what I deem goal lust. If you ever heard the word, and I'm not a sick person, but if you ever heard the word bloodlust, well, I'm the opposite of that. I just coined a new word called goal lust. So substitute the blood and institute the word goal, and you got goal lust. And that's the kind of person I am, having goals. I used to make goals every year, those New Year's resolutions. But now I'm the kind of guy I make goals whenever I need to, whenever I see fit. But it's critically important, to have a plan. Have a plan. If you got goals in your life, whatever they are, you got to have a plan first. Second thing is you have to work hard towards that. Okay. If you sometimes, with this goal that I've had, it got tough. It still is tough. Like I say, I still want to add to it, although I've met my goal. The thing is, it's like sometimes in life you got to have willpower, okay? And what I mean by willpower is that decision to say, no matter what, no matter the conditions, I'm going to get this goal accomplished. So you got to have that attitude. I can say that because I have done it. You just got to dig deep into your soul, if you have to will a goal into fruition. So I hate to get deep with you, but that's the way you have to do it sometimes. Doesn't matter what the obstacles are or what kind of pain you suffer. And believe me, I suffered a lot of pain just to get to the position that I am today. I tell anybody, the jobs that I've had, hey, I know what it's like. I've had stuff fall on me. Let's see, I've had a couple of gashes on my head. I've been hit by steel. Yeah, steel, the metal, like I-beams. Although I haven't been hit by I-beam, but I'm just saying, hey, I have been hit by steel and that shit hurts. But the thing is like when you got a goal, it's like, hey, if you can tolerate it, then do it. I'm not telling you what to do. So I'm not a life coach. I have no letters after my last name. So I am not telling you what to do. You have the choice to do whatever you want to do. Maybe my words, maybe my testimony here isn't for you. If so, so be it. I accept it. Maybe there are a few people out there that would understand where I'm coming from and maybe implement some of my way of thinking, maybe not all of it. Or then there might be a rare person out there who might take my testimony to fruition with all of it, not just some of my testimony, but they might listen to all of it and might adopt my way of thinking. So it's all on you, giving up your life. I mean, I've learned having, New Year's resolutions, year after year after year, and actually accomplishing a lot of them. Have I accomplished all of them? No. But having goals is very, very important. So if you're at home right now, let's say you have no motivation. Maybe you're at home with mom or dad, or you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, whatever the case is, who's providing, I mean, if in the end, if you want to stay comfortable in life, stay that way. Me personally, I choose not to. I like going out there, just putting my name on the line, see what I can do, see what I can accomplish, And like I say, I had this one big goal that it took me 5 years, no doubt, 5 years to accomplish. And it meant a lot to me, but I went through hell. I mean, hell, but come hell or high water, I actually got it done. So I'm here just to share that with y'all, man. Whoever you are, likely I've never met you before, although I could have. But, I mean, hell, it could be anything. You want to go back to school, you want to finish up, you want to lose weight, whatever the case is. I mean, first of all, write down, what is your goal, okay? What is your goal? What is it you want to do? Second of all, okay, I got a goal. What do I need to do? Let's say, hey, I want to lose weight. Well, okay, that's your goal. What's your plan? What's your plan behind it? First of all, I'm gonna drink more water than I'm gonna drink. I'm going to drink less sodas and less sweet tea, whatever whatever you drink. You can say, hey, well, I'm going to drink. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables. I'm going to stop eating out at these fast food restaurants. You got to write the shit down. And then, like I say, you just got to go through with it. You just have to. When it starts hurting a little bit, you got to start using willpower, okay? Willpower to me is that decision to do something you don't want to do. It's the decision to do something when part of you doesn't want to, okay? So, I'm not saying, hey, go extreme with it. Not saying under this example I gave you of losing weight, I'm not saying go out there and starve yourself, okay? Not saying that. But what I am saying is, hey, you got to have a plan. First of all, you got to have a goal, then you got to have a plan, and then you got to stick to that plan. And then, like I say, when you start getting tired and you feel like you don't want to start doing stuff, and I can speak to it, hey, you got to will your way through it. It's called willpower, okay? You just have to use your brain, use that deep part of your brain to override the way your body feels to get the job done, okay? So, once again, I'm not telling you what to do, but I just hate to hear, I see lots of stories on YouTube about people giving up, and all, I try not to, okay? I'm a 40-year-old man. I'll be 41 in September. And, I get it. I would say, what motivates me to start would be just myself. Just, because I love having goals, okay? So it's really myself. That's what gets me started. But what keeps me going? I try to listen to or watch positive stuff. If you're into going to church, hey, it could be that. If not, hey, you can look on YouTube. There are hundreds of motivational videos you can watch. Me personally, I do watch that a little bit. Also, I go back in history. I look at old speeches like MLK gave a speech. I think it was in Philadelphia. What was the year? 1962, 64. Somebody could go Google it up. I've done that many times. But yeah, that I think it's something about a blueprint. But I would tell you, hey, watch that. Just do something like that. You could surround yourself around positive people, the right people, not the wrong people, but the right people. It's harder to stay motivated if you're by yourself. You're surrounded by a lot of negative people. But even there, what I would try to do is use my willpower to not become like them. You gotta stay positive, or first you gotta become positive, and then once you become positive, you have to stay positive. Okay. Like I say, I don't know who this video would reach, but if you watch this video, I would just say, hey man, or hey lady, you just gotta be positive. Get a plan. First of all, get a goal. Write down a plan. Stay with that plan. And then when times get tough, hey, you got to will yourself to get it done. I can say that, because, I got, like I said before, I achieved a goal that took me 5 years to accomplish. But boy, I'm still feeling it today, but I'm glad I did it, because there was a lot of pain, a lot of bruising, a lot of, getting hit, getting cut, but I'm glad I did it. So, like I say, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in the ring on the table and just tell y'all, hey, you have the strength, you have the inner strength, you have the willpower to do any damn thing you want to do. But it all starts and ends with you. All right, so I say, hey, if you wanna, in the end, if you're one of those guys who, I understand blaming the system, and I don't agree with every rule, every regulation, every law that's out there. Are there people trying to keep other people down? Sure. But the thing is, I'm one of those guys, I can't sit on the sideline and just, sit on the bench and just cry your way to happiness, or whine your way to happiness. I can't do that. But what I can do, I'm like, hey, see what the obstacles are. It's like, oh, okay, well, I might still do this or do that, and just go. But like I say, man, having goals is important. I gave you how I go about it. I would say, hey, like I said before, once you have your goals and stuff and your plan written down, hey, to stay motivated, hey, do what you got to do. Whatever you're into, do it. But I would say, hey, surround yourself around good people, positive people. If you can't do that, if you go online, man, hey, read inspirational speeches. Like I gave you that example of MLK. There's other stuff, other motivational videos that I use to stay motivated. I can initiate motivation myself, but stay motivated, that's what I do. I also listen to good music. I don't listen to a lot of mainstream stuff. But anything that'll keep you moving. One song, I'm one of those guys. I love Fight Song by Rachel Platten. That's a good song. Listen to that, for example. Listen to that once a day. Do that for 30 days. I believe that would change you, at least partially. It may not change you completely, but it will change you partly. That's not the only song out there by far. But just, do stuff like that. Just do what you got to do, to stay motivated. And hopefully one day you'll reach the finish line. But, one of the games I like is baseball. All right. And, to use the baseball analogy, you may never, or it may take you a long time to get to home base, okay? But I do believe that certainly I can at least get to first base or the second base. So that much I can do. If I want to use a football analogy, stop, looking for the big play. Hey, go out there and try to get first downs, That's my mentality. That's the way I look at it. It's whatever it is. If you want to start a business, hey, go out there and start that business. It might take you 5 years to save up money, but hey, do it. Like I say, I'm a long-term guy. I'm not a short-term guy. This world is hard. It's tough. That's the more appropriate word. But, you just got to keep going. Not everybody, if I was using that example of starting a business, and of course, I don't know how much you would need to start a business with, but one thing I would do, I would get out there, have a plan. It might be a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year plan. If it's unfortunate that you can't get a loan from a bank or, get credit from somebody, maybe you come from a poor or poorer, if I pronounce that right, family, and nobody can afford to give you a loan, you just have to go out there and do it yourself. And like I say, it might take you 5 years, but keep that goal on your mind. Think about it every day. Or what I used to do, I don't do it anymore, but I used to have my goals written down on a sheet of paper. And I would stick that sheet of paper to the wall in my bedroom. So therefore, every day I walked out of that bedroom, I would see it. So it stays on my mind constantly. You could try something like that to stay motivated. So giving up, it's not wise. I don't want to go back. I don't think anybody else wants to go backwards in life. I've never met that person. But I would say, hey, just don't give up. If you have to, hey, if you can't find the job that you want right now, hey, I would go somewhere, knowing me, I would go somewhere like McDonald's or something, some kind of fast food, or I've done janitorial work. Not too proud to say it, but I made an honest living, till it held me over till I could get something else. So you got to do what you got to do, especially if you want to achieve a goal. If it really means that much to you, you'll find a way to achieve it. So, like I say, just maybe, look at this video, watch it again 2 or 3 times. Maybe you take little bits and pieces. Maybe you take the entirety of this video to heart. Whatever works for you, okay? But, giving up, it's not... Another way I can put it, giving up is sort of like playing the lottery, okay? If you buy a ticket to the lottery, technically, if you buy one ticket, you technically have a chance of winning the lottery. Not saying you will, especially if it's one of those big lotteries, but you have to pay to play, All right. So it works the same way with life, with being motivated, with accomplishing goals. You have to pay to play. If you wanna be successful in any endeavor, you got to put the time in. All right. You got to put the effort in. You got to put the willpower in. You got to put your brain into it. But if you never, and like I say, if you never play the lottery, then you never have a chance of winning the lottery. So if you never attempt to be successful, or to move up the ladder, so to speak, in life. So let's say if you want to go from being poor to what was the middle class. I know it's harder today, but it would be impossible to do something like that if you just gave up. So in my opinion, and like I say, this is my opinion, giving up isn't wise. It's not the right move. If you're at home sitting down right now, perhaps you live with mom or dad or cousin so-and-so, or you got a friend so-and-so, use that time, man, to go out there, just reflect, let's say if I'm young and I'm at home with mom or dad, go out there and say, hey, well, let's say I want to get a new car. I want to get a car for myself. If you live at home with mom and dad, hey, go out there and get a job somewhere. Save you up some money. And then, one day you can go out there and get you a car. That's a good way to at least start becoming motivated. You could look in the mirror. You could say, hey, well, I did this. Now build off of it. Okay, I got me a car. Let's say, well, can I go out there now and save up enough money to, I don't know, maybe go out there, get you an apartment, get you a home or a house, a physical house, whatever it is. But it's just building blocks, or if you want to use the ladder as an example of what life is, hey, you got to move up, move forward. I never met anybody who wants to move backwards. So giving up isn't for me. Maybe it is for some of you. I don't know. I just know damn well I don't want to be that way. So in the end, folks, I'm going to wrap this up. If you genuinely, deep down in your soul, you want to remain comfortable for the rest of your life, stay that way.